Hey you guys, my name is Danny Latish. This is Beauty Manifested. This is a channel for storytelling. It would make sense for you to subscribe because if you're just finding this video and you only hear this one piece of the story, then it may not make sense to you. But either way, I'm happy that you're here. And so today, I have something to talk about. So it's about celibacy and just kind of some realizations I've had. Like today, I'm kind of feeling a little sad about it. Not all day. Sorry, my eyes are watering. They've been watering all day. So, forgive me. But, you know, I've been feeling like something has been stolen from me. And this is so vulnerable for the internet, but I'm going to share it anyway. So, my background, I'm from Michigan. I was born in Detroit and then raised in the suburbs primarily. And, like, from my knowledge, I guess, like, not everybody's going to be super transparent. But, like, I think I only know, like, one adult virgin in my life. I know one woman who I know for sure is a virgin, and I think that's it. And like, I'm on my celibacy journey now, and I'm 26 years old, and I've been on it for a little while now, a couple years. But like, I feel a little sad for like the younger version of me who wasn't celibate, because I feel like something was really stolen from me, because in the culture that I was raised, like celibacy was never a thing. I literally never knew anybody who was like, oh, you should wait till marriage. Like, that's not something I grew up on. That's not something I knew anything about. And it's not something I knew was happening. Like, honestly, I thought that's something from, like, the old ages, like medieval times or something. Or maybe, like, other faraway countries. I don't know. I didn't even think about it. And, I mean, I wasn't just out here just, like, loose willy-nilly. Like, I was raised to believe that, like, sex is something you do with someone who you love, like someone who loves you a lot, and when two people love each other, then that's what they do. So I was raised on that, but I didn't know, like, if a man really loves you, then he will make you his forever and invest in you and, like, all these things. And, like, I just feel sad about that. And I feel sad for a lot of women who haven't even gotten to the point where I'm at, where they realize, like, they haven't even realized yet, and they just think that having sex is not like a big deal, and it's like a huge deal. And I just wish that I had like had those conversations more with people growing up. And granted, like growing up, I was a really rebellious child, and so people in my family who wanted to guide me were not able to guide me because I was just so like hard to handle and hard to get a hold on. Like, even if they had tried to talk to me, I wouldn't have listened. So it's not their fault, but I feel like I was raised by MTV basically. Literally MTV, 17 magazine, Cosmo magazine, and teen, like, youth adult romance novels. Like, that basically was, like, where I got all my ideas about the world from. And, like, I just wish that I had known this the whole time. Like, if I could go back in time. And I think I've been kind of triggered about the Cassie thing, too, because she was only 19 when all that stuff was happening to her. And, like, I know people are like, you're an adult. Like, what kind of 19-year-old doesn't know? Like, you should know right from wrong. You should know how to say no, all these things. But, like, at the end of the day, we don't. Like, yeah, maybe we should know. But when I was 19, like, there's literally so much I didn't know. And, like, so much, like, it wasn't popular. And so, and I know, like, it's not like you're supposed to be following everybody. But when you're 19, you kind of are. Like, you're trying to find your place in the world. You're trying to fit in and, like, you don't find out where you fit in. And most people are just not on that journey, and it can be confusing, and learning how to say no is a huge journey for women. Like, a lot of, I'm telling you, 30, 40, 50-year-olds are still in people-pleasing mode, and they really don't know how to say no and enforce boundaries. And it's just really sad. And I want to have, like, a moment of silence for all the women who had their innocence stolen from them before they even had sex, because, like, it's just not an innocent world. It's really sad. And even for people who did grow up in those cultures, like, I heard a story of a girl, and this is like, I didn't hear it on YouTube, I heard it in real life, and when she was with her sister, they're both like super young, younger than 13, and they were playing outside, they were playing outside, and then they saw like a man like behind a car, and he was like looking really weird, and they're like, what's going on? And when they kind of like investigated a little bit, he was literally masturbating, like watching them and masturbating. And they were little, and they hadn't even had sex yet. But like, that's an example of your innocence being stolen from you too young. Cassie had her innocence stolen from her too young. Like, these things, like, they really haunt you. And it's really sad because it's like, okay, like, you know, sometimes you get into a relationship, it doesn't work out, you move on. Like, it's no big deal. Like, breakups happen. My dad always told me, like, hey, you're part of it is getting your heart broken. Like, it's just part of it. Everyone's gonna get their heart broke. It's fine. That's fine. But getting your heart broken is one thing, and it'll heal and you can move on. But giving your body to someone is another thing, and you can never get it back. You can never get it back. Like, once you've given someone access to you, like, there's no going back. And so I just hate that for me, honestly. I wish I had known better. I try as much as I can to talk to, like, my sister and her friends, my little sister, because she's younger than me, and just, like, other young women. Like, please choose wisely, and, like, just don't have sex, honestly. Like, there's no real gain from it at all, except for having children, which is, like, the most beautiful thing of all. But so many people are having sex with no intention to have children. Hence, abortion and birth control and all of these things that exist. And so we're just, like, really abusing this sacred ritual of reproduction and populating the earth for just, like, really sick things, specifically, honestly, for male pleasure. I have a girlfriend who's on YouTube too, and she talks about all that stuff, like birth control and all these things, is worshiping men. She's like, because we live in a patriarchal society, somehow we've all been brainwashed to, like, worship men, and we think that a man's sexual pleasure is so important that we will imbalance our hormones, we will have spiritual warfare because of abortions. Like, that's not right. I'm not saying, like, I'm not persecuting anyone who's had an abortion. I know that things happen, and I know that we live in the society, and like I said, like, I literally didn't even know until a couple years ago that I should be saving myself. I know that sounds, like, horrible, but, like, I literally didn't know. I really didn't. I mean, I knew you weren't supposed to, like, sleep around, and I knew people would call you, like, a slut, and I knew that, and I didn't want that to happen. And so fortunately I didn't sleep around, but I'm not a virgin either, and I wish that I was, because, like, I'm not married, and I've literally never met a man ever in my life who I would want to be married to, I don't think. I mean, other than, like, I'll see, like, someone who's already married and they're in, like, a happy relationship. I'm like, oh, wow, like, he's a good man. I love how he treats her. But I've never personally dated someone where I was like, oh, yeah, like, this is for sure my husband. Even I was in a relationship that lasted years, and sometimes people in my family would be like, oh, like, are you guys going to get married? And I'd be like, no. Like, that was never the plan. That was, no. But they like, do you love him? Like, yeah, like, I love him a lot. But you're not going to marry him. So, like, that, it just doesn't, like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. So, moment of silence for women who lost their innocence. And as I heal myself and as I move differently through the world, like, I just hope that that will radiate outwards and I can inspire some young women to do the same. And just really value themselves and decenter men from their lives and put themselves first, and, you know, make decisions that keep them safe and keep them healthy. And having sex out of wedlock is not safe or healthy. Yeah, I keep saying because it's just like, dang, I hate that the world is like this. And shout out to the men in like more conservative cultures and stuff that really protect their sisters and daughters and don't let them have sleepovers and don't let them date and don't let them have boyfriends and all those things. I know that some people see that as oppression, but honestly, I feel like that's such a gift to have a man who protects you in that way and, like, keeps you from going down that path, because I feel like men know, like, a woman has literally nothing to gain in those situations, and I just hate that. That's just my little message for the day. I love you guys. I hope that a woman sees this and gets inspired. Have a beautiful day. Be blessed.